The Bristol Motor Speedway, it is one of the fastest half miles that you can find on the planet. It is high banked, and boy is it ever a tricky track. A top lane heavy racetrack will be the name of the game for race number 5 of the Speed Tires Plus Cup Series on Green Flag TV. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the show. My name is Ola Rambo, bringing you all the action from Thursday night racing here tonight from the last great Coliseum. It's given that name for good reason, with grandstands encompassing every square inch of this facility around the racetrack, ensuring that you are never left with a poor vantage point. My goodness, is this ever a track to be excited about? 160 laps will be the distance as we get set to continue to duke it out for more racing action here tonight. We are steadily marching our way through in the Speed Tires Plus Cup Series. We, of course, will swing out to the Circuit of the Americas next week for a doubleheader first in the Speed Tires Plus Cup Series, and then, of course, with the Classic IndyCar Series just 3 days later. Points-wise, it is looking like Ryan Shelton will still be one of the drivers to beat, sitting 8 points clear of Shane Weinmiller. Only 1 point separates Christopher Dartmouth from Carlton Charles for that final bubble spot, with a lot of drivers still with good shots to points their way in. Charles back through Jason Shue, 8 through 12, all sit, just 6 points separated to the cut line. So boy, is it ever going to be an exciting program here tonight, and is it ever going to be a show that we can get ourselves hyped up about as we'll look set to go racing here for the Bristol Motor Speedway. Before we get to all of that, though, we want to, of course, thank the sponsors that help keep the lights on here. Tonight's race is brought to you by Tires Plus Total Car Care. At Tires Plus, they know tires, but understand that you may not, and that's perfectly okay, because it is their job to work with you to figure out what tire option may work best for your vehicle, driving style, and budget. They do this by offering a range of suggestions from good to better to best. Then we'll give you the room to choose. They also make tire buying easy with the ability to shop, get a quote, and schedule installation online. And they're there for the duration with rotations and repairs. For simple oil changes to brakes and alignments, including your ADAS sensors, they don't believe in performing unnecessary repairs. They'll tell you what's best to be taken care of now and what can wait. Because at the end of the day, it's your call and your car. As well as that, this race brought to you by Max Graphics. Max Graphics has all of your graphic design needs, from NASCAR to sim racing, logos, banners, posters, t-shirt design, and other commercial uses. Find out more today at facebook.com/Max Graphics Design. as well as by Brookstone Animal Hospital. Brookstone Animal Hospital is a AAHA accredited full-service veterinary medical, boarding, and grooming facility dedicated to serving Metro Atlanta. Their mission is to provide modern and up-to-date medicine while tailoring their care to the individual needs of each animal and owner. They strive to support and nurture the health and well-being of all animals and treat their clients and their pets as members of the family. Visit BrookstoneVet.com to schedule your appointment online today. Other sponsors include Twisted Steel Steak Appeal by Marty Palute, Simrat Market, Admin Box, Makona Setup Shop, Beer Street Journal, Firestone, and JNR Craftworks. So that is it then. For the most part, drivers have wrapped up qualifying pretty nicely. There's a few drivers that are still looking to make their way around the racetrack for some extra practice laps. One of those being Emmett Lindquist, the driver of the BXR number 40 Mustang, working his way up and around the racetrack. He currently sits number 10 in the qualifying sheets, but it is the Beer Street Journal Camaro of Stan Housen that currently has the Max Travis Pole Award with a 14.83. And looking like we could be seeing Mark McFadden working his way out to the racetrack for his one and only qualifying effort. He will have time to get one lap in, but not two, as of course we are quickly approaching the close of this 5-minute qualifying session. So Mark McFadden works his way into turn numbers 3 and 4. Takes it across the start-finish line to start lap 1 of 2. He might have time to get both laps in here, but he is going to have to put that hammer down and absolutely gun it. McFadden works around through 3 and 4. He'll cross the start-finish line, and for lap number 1, puts down to 15:20. That's good enough for the number 17 spot out of 24. But looking for better as he fires around 3 and 4 for the final time. 5 seconds on the clock. He will make it back. And crossing the start-finish stretch, it will not be an improvement. He will remain in the number 17 spot. So that is it then. We've got qualifying all wrapped up. So let's take a rundown of what your starting grid is going to look like as we get set to go racing for what will no doubt be a very intense bout. 160 laps about to kick off from the last Great Coliseum. Starting on the pole, you've got the likes of Stan Hausman with Ryan Shelton beside him on the front row. Devin Pirog starts in third with Jason Gracias back on row number 2. Row 3, Hills Martin Flute and Manatzi Major. Shane Weinmiller and Christopher Darling on row 4. Josh Emerson and Emmett Lindquist will bring home the top 10. Rounded up the top half of the field on row number 6, it is Josh McDougall and Michael Mooney. Doug Milner and Ben Mashburn will be starting up there on row number 7 with row 8 holding Mike Mortcrid and Carlton Charles. Mark McFadden and Tim Branson bring home row number 9. The top 20 rounded out by Jeff Wyatt and Aaron Mack. Andy Levier doing a bit of sandbagging, 10 seconds off the pole time in the BSRO machine. He starts 21st with Jason Shue down to 22nd, not putting down the time. TJ Ullman starts 23rd with Micah McRunnels to close out the 24-car field here tonight. So that is it then. All drivers are gridded up and ready to rumble as we get set to duke it out for what will be an intense series of laps. So again, 160 will be the number to match here tonight. Track temperature looking at a very blistery 119 degrees and not a track temp to be trifled with out there on the racetrack. So who knows how this race is going to pan on out. Right now, Stan Hausman has the race lead. He's looking to see if he can hang on off of the jump coming down to turn number 1. That outside lane can really pull, though, in these Gen 7 stock cars. So we'll see what Ryan Shelton will be able to make for himself at the number 99, the current points leader, trying to see if he can continue his strong form here this afternoon. One lap to go before we get to green flag race. We want to quickly touch up on pit road. It is not the double pit roads that we're used to seeing. Only one pit lane tonight, and that means entry at the bottom of turn 2 and exit in turn 1. A green flag stop means losing at least 1 lap, guaranteed. Quite possibly could lose 2, maybe even 3. A caution that comes out when you're pitting then could be a death sentence to anybody's races here tonight. Stan Hausman, you're going to be your control car as you work through turn numbers 3 and 4. We're happy that you joined us here on a Thursday night as he works his way into the restart zone. Green flags out. We're racing at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Sure enough, Ryan Shelton taking the lead at the end of lap number 1 as we look set to double this thing out and fire our way back into turn numbers 3 and 4 for the first time tonight. So right now, Shelton first, Hausman second. Gracias in a battle with Devin Pirog for third. Devin Pirog trying to lunge his way around the top side of the racetrack to pick off number 1. He'll do just that. So Devin Pirog puts his way up to third. How about Martin Blut trying to work around the outside of Benazzi Major as we thunder down the front straightaway. Your Max Graphics Pole Award winner, Stan Hausman, sitting down in the number 2 spot already. Meanwhile, 81 and Darling both looking to the top side to see if they can pick off Major, but Benazzi Major holding his ground on the inside line. Contact behind. Look out. Michael Mooney going around. He'll slam the outside wall. No caution, though. We'll keep it green. But a hard hit for the driver, number 88, coming out of turn number 4 to the front straightaway. Now Pirog sideways. Just able to wrangle that car back underneath him. Going to fall to Christopher Darling. Gracias picks up third. And meanwhile, Shelton has not been able to get away as Stan Hausman really looking to run down the 99. Pirog loose again in the background. Sliding down the racetrack. Emmett Lindquist will blitz by around the top side. And now Martin Blut trying to size him on offensive on Jason Gracias. He's going to try to go for the podium. Tracks off at turn number 4. Gracias cuts him off. Darling seeing if he can't get a nose in on the inside. Can't get it done. The Simrap Market Camry of Shane Wymiller, meanwhile, pulling the outside, trying to get up and around Benazzi Major. He'll do just that. Jason Gracias cutting down to the bottom, meanwhile. See if he can score the spot from the 81 of Blut. Darling takes it down low. And Blut finally has the nose in on the outside of the racetrack, although Jason Gracias again cuts him off, and Stan Hausman had to do a bit of defensive driving there as well to keep that number 1 car at bay. There's a lot of concertina going on here in the middle of this field. Nobody's sure where to go. Blut will again fend off a move from Darling to the inside. This is all the battle for second on back. And boy, it is an intense battle at that. All of this allowing for Ryan Shelton to start open up a gap for the race lead. It's up to half a second in just 12 laps. Stan Hausman up to the outside as Gracias trying to poke out down low. Pirog again low on the racetrack in turn number 4. Thought from he was going to go into the inside wall. Hausman does find the outside wall out of turn 2. Gracias to second. Blut will make the run for third. Double file, 2 rows deep. Darling, Wymiller, and more. Caution is out for the first time tonight. And it is for Mike Morkman. Stop high. No, he's going to get drilled by Emmett Lindquist, and Devin Pirog comes sliding in as well. Ryan Shelton, your race leader at the end of lap number 1. At the end of caution flight number 1, excuse me. Take a look back. This is Mike Morkman on the outside of the 86 car of Jeff Wyatt. Going to get a bit of help there, looks like, from the 26 of Andy Levier. And turns Morkman hard into the outside wall. Levier hard into the outside wall. And then entering stage right is going to be Emmett Lindquist, who's going to come flying in and have nowhere to go. And gosh, that is a hard lick. At speed. Just that little bit of a tip is all it takes, and around goes Lindquist, hard into the wall, and then here's the whack. I think Lindquist locking it down, trying to keep it out, and he just couldn't get it done. Devin Pirog getting in there as well. This is on board with the driver of the number 40. Yeah, he locked it up, tried to avoid the wreck, and just couldn't do it. Oh, and there's the hit from Pirog. This is on board with Levier. He's going to go for the send into turn 1, and nope, no room. Gets into the Firestone Complete Auto Care 26, and gets into the wall himself. caution number 1 for Ryan Shelton. He continues to lead this race, with now Jason Gracias having pushed up to the outside, and he will be starting on the front row. The lights remain flicked on aboard the iRacing pace car. As we continue to sort this incident out, we'll take a look one more time at the wreck. From the wall, there's the hit, and hard hit in the outside fence. And it's a bad place to be stopped, and you're going to watch. There's Lindquist off the corner, boom! Nails the 53 in the passenger door. And lucky that nobody else got into that car as well. That easily could have been a lot worse than it ended up being. Lights go out. Will be green flag racing this time by Ryan Shelton with the race lead. Jason Gracias running second. Plute third. Darley fourth. Hausman and Weimiller will close out the top 3 rows. Pace car going to make that left-hand turn down in the pit road, this time by. As we enter the Geico restart zone, green flag's out. We're back underway. Jason Gracias making an early move to get around Shelton for the lead. Trying to pull clear, coming down out of turns 3 and 4. Gracias leads his first lap of the night. Good show there for the driver, the number 1. Punches clear for the lead to get around. Points leader Ryan Shelton. Meanwhile, Ben Mashburn on the outside of Josh Emerson, firing around the top. As the 23 tries to pick off the Bridgestone, number 73. Deep into turn numbers 3 and 4. Ben Mashburn continues to rip the top lane. Emerson pinching him in, though. Not leaving a lot of room to work with. And Mashburn just cannot find a way to get through. Finally, the battle will close itself out as the 73 clears from Ben Mashburn. And you jump up to Stan Housen, who's starting to lose a bit of speed. While the battle picks up for number 2, Shane Weinmiller trying to go to the point. The sim wrap market in number 48, driving around the top side of Ryan Shelton, and put Weinmiller to the number 2 spot. And Shelton in the process of being freight trained on the top from the top lane. He cannot get to the inside. Emil Lindquist is into pit road in the meantime. Plute clears from Shelton. He wants to get to the outside lane. Now would be a good time to do it. Slot up in front of Christopher Darden before Darden can get in there. He's going to do just that. Check it back in on Josh Emerson, trying to keep now Josh McDougall at bay. Now that Ben Mashburn's broken clear. And all the while, Doug Milner's in the fray as well. Milner with a huge lunge to the inside and picks off the spot. Back up to the lead. Miller's caught Gracias, and he is gunning for it down the back straightaway. Shane Weinmiller worked at the top side. Jason Gracias down low, and it's so close to call. But I think Shane Weinmiller's got him at a 2. Miller started in 7th. He will gun it to the race lead on just lap number 31. Meanwhile, Emerson on back, still in a big battle as Ben Mashburn scrapes the wall. Doug Miller trying to get in the fray as well. Oh, contact, and almost around goes McDougall. He'll lose out to Milliner as well as Emerson. Catching lap traffic, crosses to the inside of Miller as they have caught up to Micah McReynolds, and Miller going to go from 1st to 3rd as Jason Grossi has fired that one down to the inside, used all that lap traffic as a pick just to try to make up ground. Shelton pressuring the back end of the number 1. Trying to set him up for the drive here, coming out of turn number 4. Oh, the squeeze coming down to turn 3. Shelton manages to hang that one in around the top, while Jason Grossi remains ever defiant down on the bottom. Pulling to the inside is Jason Shue. He'll let the battle for the lead through. Grossi is really throwing it in as they catch Michael Mooney, and Shelton going to get clear. Clears, jumps to the bottom, and they'll pick off and put down the number 88. Into the outside wall again goes Ben Mashburn as Josh McDougall tried to hunt him down. Oh, and a bit of a bumper that time by McDougall getting physical. And he got a huge gaggle of cars from about 9th on back to 15th, all bunched up together. And McDougall's not yielding. To the inside goes the 45, almost squeezed the outside wall for a couple of drivers. The 102 of McReynolds jams on the brakes, contact behind. Milliner into Mashburn, nearly sends him around. As well as that, Jason Grossi is still trying to apply some of that pressure to the back bumper of the number 99 of Ryan Shelton. Caution flag is out for the second time tonight. We got a big pileup in turn number 1. Milliner around, Branson around, and more. A big crash entering turn number 1 of the racetrack. Take a look back at Doug Milliner as he comes off of turn number 4 on the inside of Josh Emerson. Emmett Lindquist puts it 3. Emerson into the wall. Milliner runs into him as well. TJ Allman stacks up. Milliner slides down. I think Carter Charles just kept it out of him. There goes the 73 hard back into the outside wall, and then Tim Branson jamming on the binders as well. Holy cow, what a drive. Let's take a look at this wreck at speed. And yikes for Carlton Charles. Michael Mooney, in the meantime, the driver that currently sits in the number 16 spot. He is going to be your recipient of the Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog. Caution number 2 on the Speedway. And you can tell this is not going to be the last time either. The racing action tonight has been intense. It has been hard-paced. Darling, McDougall, McFadden, Milliner, and Emerson all into pit road. Darling, a bigger name, being one of the top runners to take that Max Graphics number 11 Camry to the pits. Caution number 2, a quarter of the way through. We'll be back in a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Getting set to go back to green flag racing, this time by Ryan Shelton and Jason Gracias hold the front row. 16 cars out of 24 remain on the lead lap after our second yellow flag, resulting in a multi-car wreck entering the first corner after big contact coming out of turn number 4. Pace cars down and in. And here comes Shelton to the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Plout making an early jump to get around Shane Weinmiller. Shelton already clear with the lead. As the rest of the pack dives after him into turn numbers 1 and 2. Bit of a contact into the wall behind. That was for the 86 of Jeff Wyatt. Side slapping the outside fence, is able to gather it up. But look at the battle for the lead on back. Gracias pulling the top shelf to try to hang on against Martin Plout. Nazi Major, Martin Plout also in a bit of a battle now for third as Major picks up third. Jason Gracia still charging after Ryan Shelton to see if he can gun it for the race lead. Cars spinning around, Mashburn into the wall, Weinmiller into the wall. Multiple cars involved, Ben Mashburn gets the worst of it. Caution number 3 at lap 50. Second wreck of the day for the driver of the number 23 car. And this with 3 wide as Darling went up the middle and squeezed him off against Weinmiller. Mashburn spins around, tags the outside wall. And did anyone else get into him? I think the 31 of Aaron Mack may have clipped the outside fence, but other than that, looking like we have escaped that wreck relatively unscathed. From the air at speed. Yeah, I mean, Weinmiller did blink out, but Darling did stick it up the middle as well, so nothing Ben Mashburn did wrong there. As more drivers make their way into pit road. Jason Shu, this time from the number 17 spot, will be the recipient of the Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog. Going to take another chance to thank some of the sponsors that helped keep the lights on here for the Speed Tires Plus Cup Series. Tonight brought to you by Beer Street Journal. One of the largest online collections of original content dedicated to covering beer culture, education, and the advancement of the beer industry. With thousands of articles, millions of unique visitors, and exposure in over 200 countries, Beer Street Journal is paving the way to enabling category growth, engaging a broader consumer base, and promoting better tasting beer for years to come. BeerStreetJournal.com, the best in beer. And by Twisted Steel Steak Appeal. Twisted Steel Steak Appeal by Marty Plout has a solid punch of sweet and a heat flavor that lingers to let you know it's there. Marty Plout is an award-winning Steak Cook-Off Association SCA competition steak cook, and he has finally revealed his secret resting rub that will blow you away with flavor. Steak, veggies, fish, pork, and poultry. Twisted Steel Steak Appeal is a rub above the rest. And by J&R Craftworks. J&R Craftworks is your source for custom iRacing awards. From full color personalized mouse pads to laser cut wood and acrylic trophies and plaques, J&R has something for every budget. They also offer a large variety of wood, acrylic, and resin decorations and craft items, and are proud to work with several different iRacing leagues, including Speed. Check them out at jnrcraftworks.com. Other sponsors include Simbrant Market, Maconi Setup Shop, Admin Box, Max Graphics, Brookstone Animal Hospital, Firestone, and last but certainly not least, by Tires Plus Total Car Care. Tires and service that keep you in the driver's seat. Lights go out aboard the iRacing pace car. It ducks into pit road. And we're back to green flag racing from Bristol Motor Speedway. Gracias with a little bit of a better launch that time, but Shelton still clears into turn 3. Although looking to really run that gap down. Fight's also on for third as, whoa, Darling to the inside. And the driver on fresher rubber from lap 42 on, we're going to look to pick up the race lead in turn number 4. Christopher Darling guns it up to the race lead while Ryan Shelton tried to get him back. Down in the turn number 1, nothing doing. Shane Wymiller to the outside of Mark McFadden trying to make a move as well. Wymiller continues to rip the top side. Checking into the battle for second, Shelton, Gracias, Clute, and more. All packed up line to stern. Wymiller in the meantime trying to chase after McDougall while Stan Hausman looks at the inside. And how about Aaron Mack looking to throw his hat into the ring? Are we going to go 3 wide at turn 1? We will not. We'll keep it double. But goodness gracious, the racing action is fierce tonight as you watch the battle for 9th. Up the road, third place, still looking tight. Jason Gross is trying to hang on against Martin Flute. And a charge in Minotzi Major. Darling, meanwhile, has lifted up a 1+ second gap from the field with the race lead. Less than 100 laps to go. Josh Emerson taking his number 23 Bridgestone car down into pit road, as he apparently had a little bit more damage on that machine than I guess he anticipated. Meanwhile, Gracias trying to see if he can hang on against Mashburn. Not going to do it. What about Martin Plute? Can he try to open up the door? Plute running in the number 4 spot, and the caution flag is out. And it is going to be for Jeff Wyatt, who's spun and stopped on the front straightaway. Big time trouble for the driver, the number 86, J&R Craftworks Mustang. And is this with contact? He's chasing Carlton Charles, drifts up the track. I mean, Charles lifted a little bit, and then he got run over by McRunnels. Jason Shue having to lock it down. Sizable hit into the inside wall there for the number 86. At speed from the starter stand. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just that little bit of a misjudgment there that sent Jeff Wyatt around. Right on board with Jason Shue and what he saw. Talk about heads up driving, didn't touch a thing. More drivers into the pits. Shelton, Gracias, Plute, Major, Wymiller, and more. And this should, in theory, I think, put these guys good to go at the end of this race on fuel. It's all going to be a tires game from here on out. Jeff White was going to be the recipient of the Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog. He will not get it now, though, because he is the one that brought out said caution. Shelton will leave pit road in 10th, with Christopher Darling, your leader. We'll be back in a moment. You can watch the Speed Tires Plus Cup Series on Green Flag TV. Christopher Darling still holds the race lead. We'll take 91 laps to go when we go back to Green Flag Racing. At the last great Coliseum for Bristol Motor Speedway. Coming at the close of caution number 4. Already we've tallied up as many yellow flags in this race as we had throughout the entire race last season. Green flags up in the air. The field double file and very disorganized as we jumble into turn numbers 1 and 2. McFadden has picked up third, but all those cars coming into pit road that were heavy hitters before are trying to battle their way through. Stan Hausman to the inside of McFadden trying to secure third. Oh, they almost come together off of turn 2. Down the back stretch. McFadden secures the number 2 spot. Aaron Mack trying to throw his hat into the ring as well, lunging around the outside line. U.S. Army Esports, Chevy Camaro making good progress as I say that he sideslaps the outside wall. Big hit into the wall. TJ Allman slow on the racetrack as he's going to slide up right in front of Charles in the middle of 1 and 2. Charles with some good heads-up driving, jams the binders to keep that from being worse than it was. Meanwhile, Mack, Hausman, and Moore all looking to duke it out. Ryan Shelton bobbling loose just behind. As we take this battle deep into turn numbers 3 and 4. Once again, Mack around the top lane. Can he get it done this time around? Looking like yes. Aaron Mack to the podium. Just behind, Ben Mashburn trying to keep Minazzi Major at bay while they're both trying to run down Ryan Shelton just up the road. Shelton trying to hang it in deep, and that number 99, Camaro, is doing an absolutely phenomenal job. Contact behind, look out! Jason Gross is getting into it with TJ Allman, and they nearly come together on the front straight. Well, they did come together, and they nearly went around on the front straightaway. Meanwhile, to boot, Plute and Major and Moore all embroiled in big heads-up battles. McFadden bobbling out as Stan Hausman trying to lunge in around the top lane. Major, Plute, Weimiller, all packed up line of stern. As they drive deep into turn numbers 3 and 4, around the top side goes Ben Mashburn, picks off Mark McFadden. Plute trying to follow suit, and whoa, a big check up there. Major forced to slam the brakes as he nearly runs over Mark McFadden. Oh, and around goes Plute, hard into the outside wall. Mashburn goes with him, down into McFadden, crashing up into turn number 1. Branson involved, Mooney involved, and a multi-car incident at halfway. And I believe that will put Michael Mooney as the recipient of the Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog. Mashburn and Plute both going to lose a lap after this incident coming out of turn number 4. Mashburn just got loose from the top, slid down and cleaned out Plute down low. And then Plute going to then go hard to the inside wall, rebounds back, gets into Mashburn again after hitting Mark McFadden up into the outside wall. Grosses gets involved. Branson, Pirog both involved. And in fact, the 23 was hopping up and down as he was bouncing down the racetrack, nearly got into, nearly, I think, almost tipped over from the bank in there. At speed. That's just a tough situation. I mean, you got to know where to go at that point in time. But you see right there how much that car was bouncing around as it was on its way down the racetrack. That could have been a nasty incident there. So take one more look and just wrong place, wrong time, really all around for quite a few drivers in this mess as we get a good angle from the opposite end of the racetrack and flying at you. Just know where to go when you get into a wreck like that. You gotta just roll with the punches and hope that it goes your way. Coming up on Green Flag TV next week. Well, on this Saturday night, first and foremost, the G&GG IL Truck Series swings out to the Iowa Speedway at 7:55 p.m. Eastern Time. The ASRL Next Gen Cup Series will make their trip to the Windy City to race on the Chicago Street Circuit. And the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Cup Series will go running down at race number 2 for the Rockingham Speedway. It's a big week of racing coming on up, and a big weekend in particular. I mean, you got your usual shows, right? You got TNG on Tuesday nights. They're going to be looking to make their drive out to their next circuit here on the calendar, and it should be an interesting ride, I think, to put it mildly, for OMSRL. They just came off of a very caution-filled race, and they're going to be racing at the Darlington Raceway next week. So you go racing at Darlington for OMSRL. The Beer League will be back at their usual time on Wednesday nights. For Speed, they are going to be racing, checking on the schedule here real quick. They are going to be racing at the Circuit of the Americas next week, and we'll be back there before too long as well. We'll make a quick swing to Florida for the VSCA Sports Car Championship and the 12 Hours of Sebring, and then we return on Sunday night and on Sunday afternoon. First for the season opener of the Classic IndyCar Series at the Circuit of the Americas, and then, of course, for ASRL racing competition on Sunday night as well. Some big name events coming on up. You don't want to miss it. You can make sure you don't miss a thing by subscribing to us today on Green Flag TV. Pace cars off, and Christopher Darling looks set to take us to the green. Oh, into the outside wall goes Stan Hausman. Aaron Mack throws it in. Holy cow! A huge dive bomb there for Aaron Mack as Stan Hausman nearly gets into things as well as, yikes, a bunch of 3-wide action. And we're looking back at the number 48 car as Shane Wyman, Minazzi Major, Jason Grosses, and more absolutely gunning for it. Nearly had another caution right out of the gate as the pack continues to thunder away down the racetrack. Further behind, Weinmiller loose again up on the outside of Stan Hausman. Jason Gracias, Benazzi Major, and more. All packed up line astern. And battles on for second as well as Mack takes it around the outside of Josh McDougall. Shelton trying to go with him as they continue to engage in this fast-paced dogfight. No better way to put it. Weinmiller bobbles on the top, and he'll check up Jason Gracia. Stan Hausman in the mix as well. As there was a lot that almost went so wrong. The 82 of Benazzi Major trying to go for a Hail Mary around the top lane of the racetrack, and Shane Weinmiller now taking it down low. Whoa, and nearly off the bottom goes Gracias. Weinmiller also sending it in around the outside line while Gross is trying to stick this one down underneath Aaron Mack in that big battle for third on back. Oh, a little bit of contact there. And another hit as Grosses gets into Aaron Mack for a second time. Major ults as well, trying to gun it down the backstretch. Shane Weinmiller to the inside of Aaron Mack. And all the while, once again, the battle's on for the lead. Shelton's caught Christopher Darling. Trying to size up an overtake. Gets a bit loose, cuts down low. A huge send to the inside. And how about that for a slide job as Ryan Shelton fights through to take up the race lead. 60 laps to go, Shelton back on top. Darling started to lose more and more time. The driver that pitted back on lap 42, I think those tires are starting to fade. Grassi's going to fight his way through and looking like Weinmiller will try to do the same. He can try to get the hammer down all he wants, but it's not working out for him. Josh McDougall continues to make an absolute drive to the inside. Let's see if he can score off the spot from Darling. Mack, McDougall, Ullman, and more. Meanwhile, all packed up a line astern. Stan Hausman trying to pick up the spot from Carlton Charles. Andy Levier is into pit road, and you cannot breathe for even a second with how intense these battles are for position as you rip off of turn number 4 and down the front stretch back into turn number 1. Ullman, Hausman, Shu, Charles, Mack, and McDougall all in a giant little cluster here. They've worked their way out of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. That gives a great angle as, oh boy, Josh McDougall throwing that one way to the inside of Aaron Mack. Ullman got loose off the top and nearly went around. Mack still trying to pick up the spot from McDougall, can't get it done. There's a lot of drivers that are on newer tires, remember, trying to battle their way through. Oh, into the outside wall goes Mac. 50 laps to go. This time by Ryan Shelton picks up the race lead. Jason Grossi is starting to fade. TJ Ullman around the outside of Jason Shue. They nearly come together again. As the Good Wrench Services number 3 Camaro continues to try to hang on against that number 83 car. Ullman on over 30 lap older tires than Jason Shue is right now. Really putting into perspective where this battle lies, and behind them, Ryan Shelton starting to reel in the gap. Mooney driving Pirog way up the track. Devin Pirog, remember, a lap car. And speed of lap cars, there is Michael McRunnels. Getting in the way a little bit. We're going to go 3 wide. Not a lot of room to go. McRunnels tore it up and into the outside fence, courtesy of Devin Pirog. Slowly but surely, we're starting to get ourselves sorted, but my goodness, the battles continue to rage. And this big pack from 8th on down, is the one to watch. It is the closest by far on the racetrack and the biggest. The only other two that are within a second of each other are the race leaders right now. McFadden gonna get in the way. Mack gonna drive through. Nowhere for Ullman to go. Shue with the drive around the outside. Where do you even go if you're in a battle like this? I mean, you're kind of stuck. You just got to take it on the chin and go as it goes. Meanwhile, Ryan Shelton and Jason Gracios still locked in their battle for the lead. Just about a third of a lap behind Jason Shue and Aaron Mack, who continue to slow each other down with this side-by-side grudge match. I'll tell you what, I mean, it's good driving here right now from Jason Grossi. I mean, look at the chaos. Having to duck around lap traffic left, right, front, and center to find a way around. But keeping Ryan Shelton honest, keeping him in his sights. And he is right to the back bumper of that Bilo Camaro as well. But there's just nowhere to go to try to make a move to get around Jeff Wyatt. And now looking for 3 wide. Shue to the inside of Mack. Nearly for 3 wide as Ullman will back out from the top lane. Again, Pirog a lap down, still trying to battle his way through this whole mess as well. And now your race leaders are caught up in it. There's the 99 and the one at the back. There's going to be a wreck here for sure. You can see it coming. Shelton round the outside of Lindquist. Lapping the 40 car. Contact with the race leader as Shelton almost put up and into the wall. Ryan Shelton trying to escape back down low. Lindquist into the outside wall. Crosses his lost ground. Aaron Mack, meanwhile, still trying to keep Shue at bay. Mack's into the wall. Oh, and a shot to the shorts. Shelton getting into Jason Shue. That stacks him up into TJ Ullman. Ullman swings wide. Shelton had enough. Was not about to wait around any longer. Now, if I'm Aaron Mack, let him go. Just let him go. It's not going to end well for you. This has been an absolute nail-biter, and there's still over 30 laps to run. That big mess is also stat third place runner Shane Weimiller up into Minazzi Major. So the battle for third is on as well. Weimiller down low, but Major way up on the top. Seeing if he can pick up that spot for the Simrap Market. Camry down on the inside line. By far the longest green flag run of the race. And only 7 cars remain on the lead lap. I think Weimiller may have just won out in this battle for third as he is pulling away. We'll keep close tabs on it, though, just like we're keeping close tabs on all of our other battles that are still raging on from the Bristol Motor Speedway. Finally, we're starting to calm things down, and calm down by Bristol standards. It's not calm at all. I mean, this is still a nerve-wracking scene to watch. With a lot of battles all tucked up with one another, Shane Weimiller will get around Aaron Mack and finally start to open up that gap once again from Minazzi Major, who is still stuck behind a good chunk of lap traffic. Mack under fire by Jason Shu, and we're watching this battle for the number 8 spot at the moment. Tim Ullman and Michael Mooney kind of in the fray as well as Major comes off the wall. Shu to the inside of Mack, trying to pick up 8th. And this is the battle for the lucky dog spot as well. It'll be won by Jason Shu, taking it to the inside. Meanwhile, Ryan Sheldon has continued to pull clear with the race lead and has got Jason Gracias way behind him. About half a second now. And continuing to drop. These drivers having not pitted since lap number 66. We're now working lap number 116 at the line. So they've got to get a move on here in a pretty big hurry. I've not had the chance to take many vocal breaks this race, and I'm glad I get the chance to kind of take one now, but you've still got a lot of these races that have yet to be decided. As, oh boy, Michael Mooney really squeezing Jason Shu in there. Shu's starting to take bites out of that apron transition as well, as he works his way around the racetrack down in 11th. Meanwhile, Josh McDougall and Stan Hausman, the last 2 runners on the lead lap, scrapping for 6th and 7th place. Ryan Sheldon is just in the background waiting to overtake the both of them. Of course, right now is he going to get to them? He's a pretty far, he's not too far back, so there is a distinct possibility. The battle for the last 2 spots on the lead lap continues to rage on as Josh McDougall and Stan Hausen. Oh man, Jason Shu having to lock it down. Nearly running into the side of Hausman. McDougall into the wall. Hausman cuts down low. And will secure the spot for the 45, and none too soon, because here comes Shelton. Shelton driving it in there, and oh, he thought about 3 wide, decided better of it. And now a sneak attack from Gracias. Grossi's trying to set up a run on the outside, but there's nowhere to go. 3 wide and into the wall will go McFadden. McFadden strikes the wall, put into it by McDougall. We keep it green still. Let the nail-biting commence once more as Grossis battles around Michael Mooney. And every car that Shelton has to go around the inside of is one spot easier for Grossis to try to catch him. Oh, Shelton scrapes the outside wall, but just a little nudge that time. Time continues to run out, and trouble for McFadden. McFadden sideways in turn 3. Sorry, that may have been that was turn 2. McFadden was laps down, and he's found the outside wall. I think there's a lot of damage now on that car. He's trying to come to pit road, and he can't turn. Yeah, that car's broke. He did eventually make it into pit road, but that's going to be a race ender. 10 laps to go. We'll look back to Aaron Mack and Michael Mooney, now 2 laps down, battling for 9th and 10th. And Wymill are going to split them 3 wide up the middle. That provides a perfect opportunity for Mack to try to launch an offensive on the outside of Mooney here. And they're slowing up a good bunch. I think they're trying to make it to the end on fuel. Oh, contact! Around goes Michael Mooney into the outside fence. Caution is out, and Michael Mooney is not happy. Nudges the back of Venanzi Major, expressing that displeasure here. Letting him know he was not cool with what just happened. TJ Ullman, in the meanwhile, the driver that runs 8th, will be the recipient of the Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog. Oh, sorry, no, Stan Hausman going to get the Lucky Dog Award. My mistake. Stan Hausman, your recipient of the Lucky Dog Award. Here comes Shelton into pit road. And this will put us dangerously close to overtime. Six laps to go. We'll take a look at the replay once everything calms down here in the pits, but this is pretty big. Ryan Shelton with the race lead is going to be into pit road, and he's going to have to try. Oh, he's not going to make it out in time. Grossis with a 2-tire strategy is out first. A bold call from the driver, the number 1. Let's see how this one will pan out. And then it was contact with Michael Mooney that puts us under the yellow flag here. 3 wide, gets into Venanzi Major and sends him hard into the outside wall. Aaron Mack got in there pretty heftily as well. This is at speed. Sorry, this is at speed a little ways before. We'll get a bit of a quicker look at this one. Here we go. So side by side with Mack. Watch as Venanzi Major just comes flying in here, and he just tries to shoot it up the middle, and that probably was not the wisest move. Puts Michael Mooney pretty heavily at the outside wall, and then watch this here as he's going to get to that back bumper, give him a little nudge, expressing that displeasure from the 82 car. Making sure it was known he was not happy with him. So will this be a 4 or a 3 or a 2-lap dash? This has the potential to go to overtime here. It'll be a 3-lap sprint. We are still in regulation time. These drivers that are trying to get away from around the pace car, they got to get a move on here. So the lights are out. They're not going. And they're going to hold it. No one was going around the pace car. They were waiting on, I think, TJ Allman, who had to come to pit road. So they're going to delay this start, and all of a sudden, that's turned this from a 3 to a 2-lap dash. All right, so the battle is on. Sheldon's got to get an absolutely monumental launch right out of the gate here. One more yellow flag, and we are pushed into overtime. Pace car's off. 2-lap dash to decide the race. Green flag is back in the air. Josh McDougall pulls it off to the inside. The field already spread out by a huge margin. Jason Gracias down and out of the race. As something goes awry for the driver, the number 1. Shelton takes the white flag. McDougall slow on the inside. And Ryan Shelton with no competition drives through turns 3 and 4. He wins at the last Great Coliseum. What in the world happened to Jason Gracias? This is, so this was, he was out on the racetrack. This is coming to the green. And something happened on the caution flag here to the number 1 as, well, he slows up, and I'm not sure why. We'll see if we can find anything to happen, speed this up a little bit, as he's going to pull down to the inside, and I wonder if he had something go wrong. I am so confused. I mean, he's trying to keep up with the field. I don't know what the heck's going on, and oh, he had a technical failure. That's what happened there. That is unfortunate. Ryan Shelton, meanwhile, will burn it down as a race winner on the front straightaway. What a wild way to end racing action here tonight from Bristol. And what a wild race we had all together. We'll take a look back on how this race panned out as at the end of 160 laps, Shelton is your winner with Christopher Darling in the number 2 spot. Christopher Darling finishes in 3rd. Major was in 4th with Stan Hausman, the last car on the lead lap, in 5th. Aaron Mack was in 6th, Jason Shue 7th, TJ Allman was in 8th, Michael Mooney in 9th. Carlton Charles rounds out the top 10. After a bold pit strategy, technical problems befall Jason Gracias as he puts himself down to the number 11 spot with Josh McDougall in 12, Jeff Wyatt 13th, Tim Branson 14th, Emma Lindquist in 15th. For there you have Mark McFadden, Mike Borkrit, Doug Miller, Martin Plout, Devin Pira, Micah McRunnels, Andy Levier, Josh Emerson, and Ben Mashburn to close out the field. Oh boy, what an absolutely wild ride that we had here tonight from the Speed Tires Plus Cup Series of the Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll, of course, get in touch first and foremost with your race winner of the night. Ryan Shelton dominates at the last Great Coliseum. And Ryan, it's a big win at a very, very difficult racetrack. It's not a win that came easy tonight, though.
That was a wild one. Jason really gave me a run for my money throughout the entire race, made me honest, and kept me on my toes the entire race. So that was a lot of fun. Probably one of my favorite races I've ever had here.
Kind of walk us through that really big battle you guys were having right around when you were catching that fight for 8th as well, around like lap 20 or 120 or so. Because holy cow, there were numerous cases where it looked like you were about to put them into the wall.
Yeah, I mean, that was a hornet's nest. There was a couple of times where, we had hit, made some contact here and there, and luckily we all kept straight. And I was just trying to get past them as fast as I could without having Jason pass me. And oh man, that was a wild series of events there, in that long green flag run.
We take a look up next to the races coming on up. The Circuit of the Americas will be the next track we see on the schedule for the only road course race of the season. You're in the points lead right now entering this race. You're going to extend that leaving this race. Will you be able to see another extension in that points gap entering our next race here in March?
Yeah, I mean, road courses are something I tend to pride myself on being quick at. I like doing them. I used to run the V8 supercars for a long time, so hopefully that translates into this thing. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, we'll see how the race down in Austin, Texas will go for you. But for now, congratulations on the hard-fought race win here tonight at Bristol, and we'll see you next week in Texas.
Yeah, man, you too.
That was Ryan Shelton joining us up here from Victory Lane after an absolutely wild night. We'll get the chance to bring up Shane Weinmiller, the driver of the number 48. Will bring it home in the number 2 spot. Shane, you were giving it your all there in that 2-lap span. Do you reckon if you had a third lap before that yellow got extended, you would have gotten him?
No, he was way too fast for me. I got lucky, and some of the faster guys got in some bad spots there and gave me some free spots tonight. I was probably about a 7th or 8th place driver tonight, so, but I'll take it.
I know you and Manazzi Major are having a pretty big battle there for the number 3 spot for a long while in the closing laps. Then, of course, the yellow flag comes out. Tech problems befall Jason Gracias. What's the emotions then when you realize you're going to get a number 2?
It was pretty cool. I was happy. Like I said, I'm points racing, and I'll take everything I can get. So, I mean, it sucks for Jason, and it sucks for Martin and Ben and them guys because they were fast. They were faster than me. So, but like I told you last week, I'm going to show up to survive and try to be there at the end, and it worked. So.
Well, you were certainly able to survive the carnage here tonight, but next week it's a race of patience as we swing to the Lone Star State and the Circuit of the Americas. What will we see from that number 48 car at the Lone Road Course race on the year?
Probably not much of it. Probably not much of it. I practiced there last night, and I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to rank in, so we'll find out next week, and we'll see if we can take this SimWrap market car to a decent finish.
Well, we'll see if you can follow through with another podium next week in Austin, Texas. For now, congratulations on number 2, and we will see you next week at Circuit of the Americas.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. And if you guys need any bases, cameras, numbers, anything like that, visit simwrapmarket.com. I didn't forget to plug it this week. Thank you.
Shane Weinmiller join us up here from the number 2 spot on the podium. We'll move on down and see if we can secure an interview with our 3rd place finisher. Christopher Darling takes the unlikely 3rd position here of the night. And, well, Chris, you were fighting for spots around the top 5, but, I mean, it was a bit sudden to see that number 11 car shoot to a 3rd place in those final 3 laps.
Yeah, man. I was not very good tonight. I thought I'd pit when I saw everybody else stay out real early, and I just wanted to get off sequence with them. I knew I wasn't as fast as anybody. My tires were really hurting, and yeah, I just wanted to get off sequence to see if I could do something different, and it kind of worked out, but I don't know, missed it tonight. Wasn't very good.
Lap traffic, especially in the second half of the race, was the name of the game. What did you have to do to see if you could dodge around all the Hornets to keep that number 11 car, not just on the lead lap, but out of the wall?
A lot of patience for sure. Lap traffic, I mean, it was in clusters. But I mean, other than that, it was just kind of taking it easy most of the night. Like I said, I knew I didn't have anything for the top 4 or 5 probably. So yeah, it was just all about patience, which I'm not always very good at. So I tried my best. Definitely got into Ben Mashburn about, I don't know, halfway through the night, and definitely didn't mean to do that, so feel bad, but I don't know. It was a pretty good night overall, and congrats to Ryan on the win. He did a good job tonight.
There were quite a few road courses on the schedule last season. This season, it's been whittled down to only 1 in the Lone Star State. What do you think this will mean for the points shakeups coming into Austin?
It's probably going to mean a lot. We do have double point road course races this season. So, well, one road course race, but I know there's a couple guys who are really super fast at road courses, so we're going to have our hands full. I definitely didn't finish a single road course race last season, but I did run good in them. So if I could just bring it home, I think it'll be all right for me. But I also know that a bunch of guys do run road courses regularly, so it's definitely going to shake things up a little bit. Might see some new faces up there.
Well, we'll see how things are going to pan out when we run to the Circuit of the Americas. For now, congratulations on taking number 3, and we'll see you next week as always.
Thanks, Nolan.
Christopher Darling joining us up here from the number 3 spot on the podium, and what an absolute barn burner of a night it was. Non-stop calamity from start to finish, just the way we always like it. It's been an intense night of racing, and it is only going to continue to grow more and more intense as the season moves along. We roll to the Circuit of the Americas next week for a doubleheader. First with the Speed Tires Plus Cup Series on Thursday night, then on Sunday afternoon, the Classic IndyCar Series will have their season opener. But before we get to that, our short track run will close out at the TNGG IAL Truck Series this coming Thursday night. And don't forget to check in Saturday night. Don't forget to check in as well with the ASRL Next Gen Cup Series to race number 7 at the Chicago Street Circuit in the Windy City. Next week as well on Monday, the High Tide Racing League Racing Designs Cup Series. After an absolute finish for the ages this past week at the World Center of Racing, they'll run down to Rockingham. If you want to see some good racing in Gen 4s, look no further than Monday nights. We got you covered. All that and so much more coming on up on Greenflight TV. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week when we go racing in the Lone Star State.